Everybody, Bart here. I just wanted to make a quick video about lunges, low lunges or runner's lunge specifically. I've been doing a lot of hiking. I know during this time everybody's been doing more walking and bike riding. We're using our hips a whole lot more. Some of us are running and some of us are doing finally now maybe some tennis and some one-on-one sports. So let's talk about the hip flexors, runner's lunge. So I have my yoga block here. This is a perfect prop to help me ease into a deeper form of lunge. So if I'm starting with my left leg, I'm going to slide my right leg back. I'm going to position my left knee right over my left ankle. Now when I teach this in an industrial setting, we might start up here. Even better yet, one staple prop from yoga classes might be this blanket. Now this blanket, this yoga blanket, can be a hot dog or it could be a hamburger. So right now it's closer to the hamburger. But if I just want some gentle padding, I could use the hot dog dimension. So now I have some gentle padding for my back knee. I might start up top. I'm starting to feel that stretch between this hip flexor, these hip extenders. I work myself in, still keeping left knee over the left ankle. Now this block, I don't have to drop in so fast. I have some training levels as I work myself lower. Now, my stance could be more narrow. All I want to feel is this hip respond. I don't need to become enlightened. I don't need to achieve nirvana. I don't have to have the very best lunge. It's not a competition. It's all about just stretching out, possibly some seriously tight muscles. Now, this is a common source of injury, and so we always want to ease into our lunges, taking our sweet time, getting more flexible. Once I've kind of reached the limit in my first stance, I'll slide that back leg even further, stretching the hips apart. I've now worked off from the left thigh down, one arm to the block. Then I'll work both arms to the floor. And then as I get lower or more flexible, I'll use the block to start to work forearms to the floor. Now I do this one at a time, and I can practice with the other arm limbering up, getting looser, maybe even adding a light twist. And then after I've mastered that one side, I'll turn the block around so that I can now comfortably bring both forearms to that block. So I'm just loosening. Will this all be available every single time that you sit down to do this stretch? No. Do I think that you should start doing this stretch and instantly be this flexible? No. Graduation will be at least one forearm down. I think that's cause to celebrate once you get at least that low. Sometimes it's that inside arm that is hardest to get down there. It's usually the outside arm that you're going to have the most luck with as you advance through this posture. So sometimes we call this lizard pose, runner's lunge, low lunge. And when I'm done, I'll stretch back through humble warrior. This could be a modification of half splits. In some of my most recent yoga classes, I've taken this block and I've slid it just under left thigh or butt bone in a hurdler stretch. And I've worked my counter stretch here, relaxing the head and neck, reaching forward. And so I could have not used a block. Maybe I used a block for the hands while I balanced. Maybe I stretched out into splits. But splits, I'm coming right back into that hip flexor. That's why I like to have that half where I focus on front hamstring. And then I can use that block to get more flexible, most flexible until I'm ready for a narrow knee, child's pose. So when I'm working these stretches, I have stretch, counter stretch, and then this one right here, this intermediary rest. So resting pose, most restful pose. There isn't any other pose that's as restful except for corpse. And sometimes corpse isn't even as restful as child's pose, depending on the state of affairs of here and here. So after we do our child's pose, we'll get ourselves set up for that other side. We'll work down through our lunge, and I'm going to leave it up to you to balance it out. So always do both sides when you stretch. Even if one side's tight, you got to do both sides. You're trying to keep them on an even playing field. That way one doesn't outshine the other and do too much work. Because if you injure one side, the other side will take over. It's called compensation. And after a while of it doing all the work of two, it'll wear out and become injured just like the first side. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you work these stretches into your daily practice and that you tune in for more videos. Have a wonderful day.